Rex, like, okay, if you're relying on Zillow to sell your property, then maybe you should go work for Zillow.
This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 356 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
It's going to be a big year in real estate from, ongoing legal battles, and then now, for the first time in a couple of years, ongoing acquisitions or investments. So Keller Williams took on a huge investment. We're going to get into that. But first, let's jump into the news of the day. This just kind of dropped on us right before recording, so we had to catch up and see.
Well, it looks like it came out last night, but
just last
yesterday,
night. Late last night. And so this is the news of the last 24 hours. Rex, which you may be unfamiliar, it's a now defunct real estate brokerage, but they've had this ongoing lawsuit of substance, of impact against NAR and against Zillow.
Right.
And so this is like I think the most, from what I understand, from what I've seen in the past, this was the biggest lawsuit that's ever been, brought to Zillow, certainly from the brokerage community, where they're talking antitrust, Well,
they're essentially blaming them for their business shuttering.
Yes. And so we've covered this a little bit in the past, but you're talking many episodes ago, because this has been going on for, quite some time. So I'll just bring everybody up to speed on how we got here. And then this ruling from the appeals court that says, Rex, you no longer have a case, and no, you basically cannot retry this.
You're a loser.
You have lost, Rex.
You're a loser.
Okay, so how do we get here? Rex sued Zillow 2021. Okay, so 4 years ago, they claimed that Zillow used deceptive practices to conceal non-MLS listings in their search results. Okay?
Yep.
So starting in January 21, Zillow moved non-MLS listings to a separate tab on its website. So they became a portal that was able to, through their, sometimes getting the broker license or whatever, all these markets are different. They got their IDX feed directly from MLSs,
right. Yep.
as opposed to having to just scrape everything.
Yep.
And so they had IDX feed tab, and then they had non-MLS listings. A non-MLS listing might be a for sale by owner or somebody not on the MLS. So that's what happened.
That's usually what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the breakdown.
That's it.
Peanut butter and jelly usually equals a sandwich when you include Wonder Bread.
If you're not an MLS, that's where you are.
That's where you're at. Now, and this is going to leak into some of the, clear cooperation and stuff that's going on with Compass. We can have that conversation as, part 2 of this main topic.
Just
here.
not today.
Probably today. We'll probably get to it. We got plenty of time, Bobby. Don't worry.
Plenty of time. Wow, news to me.
Bobby's like, we have a hard stop. Zillow moved to the non-MLS tab and the MLS tab. Okay, got that. And it reduced the traffic on those non-MLS listings significantly, because just user experience.
Well, you're just kind of scrolling through. Now I have to go to another tab. If you're even aware that there is another tab, maybe you don't even know that there's a non-MLS tab.
And I think that's what was Rex's big issue, was nobody's going to this other tab. They don't even know it. If you go on your, if you use X.
But Rex, if you're relying on Zillow to sell your property, then maybe you should go work for Zillow. Maybe your client should go directly to Zillow.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out the pod, and sorry to interrupt. There's so much going on in real estate, which is why you need a platform to sift through all of that BS. Join us over in BAMX. We just moved over to School. It's the #1 community and education platform in the world. Love to see you in there. Put a link down below, school.com/BAMX. Now back to the pod. If you go on X, and the same thing is, I think TikTok has this, and there's a feature in Instagram. It might be a little more difficult in Instagram. You might actually have to go into your settings. But if you just go on X, and you're in the feed, well, there's 2 little tabs at the top. It's For You, and then it's Following. Well, every time I don't even pay attention. I end up on For You.
Of course.
TikTok is famous for inventing kind of for you.
Uh-huh.
So how often are people actually every time, because it will reset back to the other one unless you make it so in your settings
you're saying
that
that's
you
X,
only
or you're on TikTok.
X, formerly Twitter,
X,
but
yes.
TikTok is the same thing.
Way. Okay, I'm not on either. So
Instagram, by the way, your feed, you can take out suggested. I think you have to go into the settings. I don't know, Bobby, maybe you can look that up.
This is really...
Eric would probably know the answer to that. But point is,
yes,
how many people actually are toggling between the two?
Right.
They end up on their For You.
Yeah.
They end up getting mad at themselves.
Well, because you lose hours of your day if you're on For You.
Or they get triggered. Like you said, I hope we're not talking about tariffs. Everybody's getting triggered.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
That's where you go. It's from TikTok to me being triggered.
I don't go to TikTok, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, it's
people go spend an hour or two in their For You.
I would, if I spent an hour on For You, I've won the day.
And
I mean,
they're like, why is this feeding me all this stuff? Well,
I'll lose a day, and then I get the update at the end of the day. How many times I'm like, holy shit, that's an 8-hour day I've been on here.
The point is,
yeah,
they get mad that the algorithm's feeding them.
Yes, and
they could have saved themselves the aggravation, all the time, the anger, by just clicking over to the tab of only the people following. Okay. So, and people spend a massive amount of social media time.
I know, but it is a lot of fun though going on.
I get it, but the chances of coming back to what we're actually talking about.
Let's do that.
The chances of somebody going to those two the other tab is pretty slim unless you're tech savvy, you're analytical, you absolutely want to see everything, and we know from Zillow's data that consumers want the ability to see everything. Okay, so they've got these two tabs. Rex was making the argument that this was anti-competitive. And so Rex, just because, well, why didn't they just go on the MLS? Well, they were always non-MLS listings.
Well, they were not part of NAR.
They were not part of NAR.
Yes.
So Zillow said that when they made that change, the two tabs, they made it to comply with NAR's co-mingling policy that prevents real estate sites which use IDX feeds from displaying non-MLS listings alongside MLS listings, like mingled together.
So now they're telling them how to run their business.
Okay, Zillow said that they did it to comply with NAR, but did not conspire. Comply, not conspire. The case went to trial September 2023, and a Seattle jury disagreed with Rex's allegations, prompting the brokerage to request a new trial. January 2024, U.S. District Court Judge ruled on the motion and denied that request. NAR was originally a defendant in the case, but was dropped after the judge ruled that Rex's antitrust claim was without merit. So then it was just Zillow left. Now, DOJ took some interest in this. It captured interest for the DOJ. They took the position that the Rex case should be looked at. Okay, so during the February 13th hearing...
Well, I mean, anything that has NAR in it, I think, is like just...
DOJ, they got to have their say.
Free game.
Their attorney, Alice Wang, argued that other viable theories related to potential antitrust violations were not considered when U.S. District Court made its ruling. The appeals court did not address the DOJ's argument directly when they just made this ruling, but ruled that Rex did not provide direct or circumstantial evidence of concerted action. So what has happened today? They lost their appeal. They are not able to retry this. This is according to the Ninth Circuit of Appeals. They're affirming the lower court rulings that threw out this antitrust claim against NAR and Zillow. They denied the now funked real estate brokerage, being Rex, a new trial against Zillow. I don't know if they can take it, I don't know what they would even hear this or whatever, but they haven't provided the evidence that there was concerted action between NAR and Zillow, and that the NAR rule at issue itself was not direct evidence. Now,
I wonder how much this all costs, you know? I mean, we're talking
this costs lots of money. Hey,
4 years.
It's no surprise that NAR gets steamrolled in their lawsuits, and yet the one that is actually has Zillow involved, because they can afford a little bit maybe better legal representation,
right? It's
goes to a W in the Zillow column.
Right. Yep.
Like there's no surprise, and that's, you know, when I said in the beginning, this is the first big, you know, lawsuit really questioning what Zillow's practices are, because they weren't involved in August 17th. They weren't involved in any of that stuff. When really they are a broker. Like Reffkin got involved.
Yeah.
Not Zillow, my friends at Zillow. I'm not saying you should be involved.
Right. We love you.
No text messages, please. No. I'm not saying they should be, but they weren't involved. And they are a broker in all states. Obviously, Zillow's argument would say, why would we be involved? We're a referral website and a portal. We're, you know, marketing the listings and making listings accessible and all of that. Yeah,
look at this guy. He closed down because he wasn't on our website, you know? Like,
yeah. This guy closed. He closed. They did close down in the middle of this. So, couple things.
Please.
The rule that they found, and NAR spokesperson said this, it's an optional rule. Okay, so it leaves MLSs the choice whether to adopt it, assuming without knowing where Zillow's point is. They probably said, okay, we're get all these IDX feeds across the country. There's however many MLSs. There's hundreds of them. We're in 50 different states. Like, we can't have 2 tabs in some states, not 2 tabs. Like, we just want 2 tabs to comply with the rule where we need to comply with the rule.
Yeah.
So they NAR leaves MLS's choices whether to adopt it. And 29%, and this is maybe one of the big reasons why this is different than other lawsuits that NAR has lost. Well, this actually was optional.
So not all of them decided to do it.
29% chose not to do it.
Okay.
So 29% of MLSs don't do this. We're pleased to put this meritless lawsuit behind us and maintain our focus on delivering value for our memberships, NAR said. Maybe NAR should make sure Zillow is involved in more lawsuits if they want more W's on the board. Just another simple thought pattern.
Just drag them in.
Zillow's response was this: Zillow was founded on increasing transparency in real estate. We have a long history of advocating for consumers through our products and our services. We're pleased with the Ninth Circuit having affirmed what we've been saying all along. Rex's claims have been without merit since the start of this matter. Rex did not. This is on Real Estate News. These comments. Rex did not respond as of the time of this particular article to Real Estate News. This speaks to how important it is for most sellers to go most of the time on the MLS.
You know what's so interesting to me, and I don't mean to change the subject here again, but
I'm not saying that they shouldn't have the choice, because we've gone through that. I'm just saying most sellers should be on the MLS most of the time.
Well, and it's so interesting because I've been seeing too ads like locally lately encouraging consumers to ask their agents if they are on, like, to make sure you're working with a smart MLS agent. Like, ask your agent if. So I'm
texting Bobby something so we can. I want to pull this up so you can.
Oh, okay.
So you can see it on the screen.
Yeah.
So you're seeing agents text.
No, there's advertisements.
Advertising.
Yeah, like they're advertising. Smart MLS is advertising it. Like, make sure your agent is a smart MLS agent.
Oh, locally?
Yes.
Make sure your agent is an MLS agent. Well, listen,
But in the state of Connecticut, you are a smart MLS agent if you're an agent in the state.
They're trying to get ahead of breaking up the tie-in.
Maybe, I don't know. State. Or they're making sure that, my husband's like, are you? And I'm like, honey, don't fall for.
He saw the advertising and he said, are you legit? Are you legit, Nicole White?
Are you a smart MLS agent, honey? I'm like, oh.
No, I'm a dumb MLS agent.
I'm not, honey.
Wow, that's interesting. So make sure you ask your agent if they're on the MLS. Reason being is, it's pretty clear when the majority of people are searching on a place like Zillow or Realtor.com or wherever.
This isn't a big surprise. Of course you want to be on MLS.
Now, obviously, we talked about Robert Reffkin. He wants more choice, not less. He wants clear cooperation to get broken up. He wants there to be the ability to go, off MLS. Yeah. He wants the ability to go off MLS.
Okay, go for it.
A lot of people attacking him, particularly as of late for this. By coincidence while people are attacking him, he puts this stat on Instagram yesterday. Compass, 94% of Compass listings sell on the MLS. So only 6% not selling. He has a little disclaimer down there at the bottom. findings are deceptive statistics and measure the percentage of Compass residential listings that are listed as sold in MLS
Oh, look,
during the
people
period.
are like, oh, look, LOL, we are the 6% resisting MLS since forever.
Wow.
What's
That's a
going on?
Compass handle. That's just a comment there.
Yeah.
Not a lot of comments there on the, maybe more people should follow Rob Reffkin on IG. Not a lot of comments, or maybe next time, Robert, collab with BAM. We'll collab
Well,
with you. We got no
was
problem.
this just 5 hours ago, or is that just when the screenshot happened?
I guess maybe it was.
No, this is live.
This is live.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's 5 hours ago. So that's 5 a.m. Eastern time. He travels a lot all over the place, from what I understand. So he could be anywhere posting this. Anyways. Hashtag we co-broke with everyone. I mean, you could co-broke
Off the MLS.
and still sell off the MLS.
Of course you can.
So he's also making the claim like we co-broke with everybody. 94% of our listings sell on the MLS. There's been a lot of people saying they're trying. I saw somebody sent me this. I won't say who. I'll send you this screenshot. Just I don't know, maybe blur. I don't have permission from whoever this user is. I don't know the user. Somebody sent me the screenshot. This is from yesterday, Bobby, where this was posted, I think, in a Facebook group. It looks like, I don't know, what does that look like? Facebook, maybe? Compass requires all of their agents to take listings internal before complying with the clear cooperation policy. I don't know if that's true.
I don't understand. Read it again.
Compass requires all their agents to take listings internal before complying with the clear cooperation policy, which is all listings must go through the MLS.
So what, they're putting it on like an internal
The
site?
internal Compass exclusives, you know.
Okay.
It's frankly a large part of how Compass did their turnaround on profit. This person seems to be pontificating to me on profit by getting both buyer and seller sides before it hits the MLS. Okay, so that's a take.
But I would think though,
that
in that,
agents
but
have.
wait a hot second though. In that situation though, too, I would think that there'd have to be a seller that would then sign a waiver saying, I don't want it on MLS. Because even if it's in a system prior to it going on
There's
MLS.
a waiver now, which is the whole thing that this clear cooperation
Right.
is getting a little out of control.
But for
on the
them to
debate.
then think that it's actually just like even if someone's interested in like the preterm, I would still be like, put it on the MLS. I ain't selling it just with your folks.
Right.
You know?
But some people, you know what the MLS is. Some people just don't know what it is, right? It's just any other 3-letter, acronym to some people that are a consumer that just don't know how
I feel
the
like
MLS
sellers are
works.
smart enough to be like, no, put me out there.
What for them, put me out there means put me on Zillow. They can put themselves on Zillow. That's not a service
I'm hearing
you need
you.
an IDX feed for.
But to be only on the Compass internal database, I'd be
Right,
like,
now-
no. I'm like,
but-
we all
but now
agree that
we're-
it's going on MLS. Like I'm assuming on the listing contract it says
The
it's going
argument
on
on the
MLS.
other side, the argument in Compass is that, well, I've got this really private seller. I've got this high-end
Yeah, I
situation.
guess maybe we're talking about the way that I'm reading that is like it's sounding a little different than that.
Well, because the way you're hearing it is how most agents are hearing it. Like they're trying to double dip and
No, I'm not thinking that they're trying to double dip at all. I'm thinking that it's silly that people think
It's
that
okay.
they're trying to double dip because it's like, even though it's on their internal system, that's the step before it goes onto the MLS.
Right.
They still have signed a contract with that seller saying that it's going to be going on the MLS.
Okay, and what they're saying is 94% actually selling MLS. Anyways,
Yeah. Anyways.
two things can actually be true here. I just brought up the clear cooperation, not to go down that rabbit hole. There's going to be way more conversation around clear cooperation during this year.
Yeah.
But two things can be true. And Zillow believes everything should be on the MLS. They also have now won a court case that says basically they're not following any rules by showing MLS and other MLS. They're, there was no antitrust issues and
No commingling or whatever they're
you know,
saying.
they're following the rules there. What also can be true, and this might support Revkin, like more options, right? And that's what this speaks to, like the fact that 29% of MLSs are choosing not to, and 71% are choosing to. More options are what this thing is all about.
That's what we were told.
And so,
Yeah.
Yes, it's true that, Rex's business model went defunct because they weren't even going on the MLS. They weren't even being on the MLS is the best option for 99.999% of sellers.
Yeah.
I guess in Compass's case, it's 94%.
I'm curious how many like deals they actually even had. Like how many people were like, you know what, this is what I'm doing.
Right. But what also is true is that in the end, it might come down to having more options. And so I don't know, Compass might get their cake and eat it too on this. If this core case here, if you can draw the line between those two things. All right.
If anything, Compass is getting some airtime over it, you know?
They've been getting a bunch this year, and they're about to get a little bit more right now, okay? Because Keller Williams just sold an investment stake to Stone Point Capital. Okay, why is this important? There's two reasons. Maybe you've heard the news, but let me just break it down for you. Stone Point Capital, the parent company of CoreLogic, has taken a significant investment in Keller Williams. Now, I actually haven't seen the numbers, but I'm hearing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars is the deal. It brings a financial, strategic boost to Keller Williams. The reason why we're not hearing the numbers, you don't have to. Stone Point Capital is a private equity firm. Okay. So strategic boost, financial boost to KW for long-term success, to evolve in the real estate market. Gary Keller says, you know, is this a cash out for him, or is this what they're positioning it as, a strategic play? He says he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
All right. He's an experienced investor in real estate data and technology business. And Stone Point really understands our industry. Obviously, we have in CoreLogic. They have an understanding. They have other real estate related companies as well. Their investment is a recognition of your success and endorsements of KW's market center network and affiliated agents. Now, one thing I'm hearing, it's not in the nowbam.com article. It's not in any of the other articles out there. One thing I'm hearing is some of this money might be used to take back market shares as company owned. Just something I'm hearing.
Little rumor there.
That's a rumor.
Little T.
That's a conspiracy. That is, I'm not naming a source. Even if you held a gun to my head,
I don't know.
I don't have to. I'm not a reporter. I can
Yeah.
just say shit on the internet.
I know that's the problem.
But that's one of the things that I am hearing from somebody who would know.
Who would know?
Okay.
It's reliable.
Leadership changes happening. Gary Keller continues as executive chairman. John Keller remains executive vice chairman. Mo Anderson, Joe What continue their longstanding contributions to teachers, culture
Everyone's
leaders.
hanging out still.
Now Christopher Zarnecki takes over as CEO and president, bringing a strong track record of real estate leadership. So CEO had stepped down recently. Now new CEO announced, big money coming in. Keller's not going anywhere. Loves this company, loves this industry, loves everybody in it.
Loves everybody. Well, I mean, his name is in it, so.
Not going anywhere.
Nope.
So there you go. Zarnecki is former CEO of Broadstone Net Lease 17 to 23. He led a $629 million IPO. So a lot of money coming in. Somebody who's familiar with big money players, big money company, gonna be able to handle this deal potentially. His led Broadstone's portfolio to over $5 billion assets. You can read more about this on the nowbam.com article. We'll link that up. Why is this even interesting? Okay, what's Keller Williams going to do with the money? The technology remains to be seen. This is now 2 in 3 months, basically. Compass, told you we'd mention them again. They acquired Christie and App Properties in December. That deal, remember, was $444 million. In total, could be worth even more depending on performance. This deal, I'm hearing, is more than that. The substantial stake being bought in Keller Williams. This is just the beginning.
It's only March.
Of
it's
a
March
1-year, 2-year run.
Yeah.
Of investments, of mergers, of some buyouts, maybe some hostile takeovers. If I'm an MLS, I might be worried about that. Like some things are going to happen.
Hostile takeovers?
Well, anytime there's significant change, and there's been significant change now since August 17th, there are some players that decide, I'm not made for this anymore. And then there are some players that decide, I see the opportunity.
Well, I don't know. I mean, hostile takeovers?
A hostile takeover is essentially what Elon Musk did to Twitter.
Yeah.
He bought up enough shares where all of a sudden he had influence on the board because he was the largest shareholder.
You see that happening?
And then he came in with an offer that was so good that the shareholders because they have a duty and an obligation to do what's right for other shareholders, the board could not refuse the sell. Remember, Dorsey didn't want to sell.
Yeah.
But he legally, when the attorneys looked at this whole deal, he had over time bought up shares, had influence, makes this offer. They couldn't basically legally deny it.
Yeah.
The offer.
So you think we're going to see more of that?
An activist investing,
because it sounds like there's going to be a lot of.
I think that
I think there's just going to be two parties coming together that are like willingly wanting to.
I think if brokers had a pair, whether male or just an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And anybody can have a pair now, so it's fine. But if brokers had the grit, they've lost the portal game. If you had the grit to go after it, you should go try some hostile takeovers of your MLSs. I think they should. I mean, I think that's a playbook that MLSs will hate me for that, and any MLS can come on and have that conversation. If I'm a broker, I'm not saying that it would be right for them. I'm just saying if I'm a broker, I'd be thinking about how do I own this data as opposed to everything, not being owned. Total another topic for another day.
Another day.
That's your real word here for today. Let us know. What do you think about the ruling? Was the court ruling right? Do you believe that's right? What do you think about the KW? If you're a KW agent, what's your thoughts? Is this going to be beneficial to you and your business moving forward? How do you think it'll impact market centers? Love to hear from you guys. And
keep it real.
Keep it real, guys.
See you guys.
Perfect. Agents, our most profitable client is someone we've already worked with, a lifetime client. How do we get more of those? We stay in front of them with value. Delivering cupcakes and drop-bys, that's cute, but continuing to remind those we've worked with in the past how much we're still in the game and how much we're separating ourselves from everybody else is what it's all about. That's where Reminder Media comes in. Branded, digital, and physical magazines that you can deliver to your clients, and nobody else is doing this. I love the product because you can tell a longer story than a postcard. Just sold or just listed is boring. It goes from here to the trash can. A magazine with the impact you're making on the community, what you're doing to separate yourself from everybody else, and the knowledge you have about the local market, that's something somebody might read, leave on the coffee table, pass it to a friend who's thinking about buying or selling. It's something nobody's doing, and it's a way to stay in front of those that you care about and want to continue to work with for a lifetime. Try Reminder Media and get a BAM sample with the link down below. Try Reminder Media today. You won't regret it.